Join me every Tuesday for fun and games and play for cash. That's right. Sylvia Mid, the fun word guessing game is back and you can come aboard and play. It's simple. Just email us your name and contact information and you are in there, baby. Yeah.
Hey, this is Smooth Tim and Larry E. on the Tim's Tidbits Show, and thank you for joining us on another Thursday evening. What's happening, Larry?
So what's up?
What's up? Now, hey, it's nice.
Dallas Mavericks, baby. Dallas Mavericks.
We're making, and I keep saying Thursday. I don't know why I say that. Wednesday evening, happy hump day. The Dallas Mavs, what about the Mavs?
Yeah, we're going to be humping on that championship trophy. I hope.
Where are they doing?
Mavs.
What's up with
basketball? We're in the Western Conference Finals. It starts tonight.
Who they play?
They are playing, damn, I just forgot. Golden State.
The Warriors.
Yeah, they're playing the Warriors. It's game one tonight. We're in the finals, the Western Conference Finals. So we'll see. So they're playing the former champions.
Hopefully they won't have the same type of incident spark off like they had in Milwaukee, right?
What was that?
Oh,
that one, the lady ran on the court? What? Which one?
Oh, well, we'll get into that later on in the show, obviously. You know, that's what happens when you're a man on the move. People don't realize that Larry E. is a man on the move. He does not have a whole lot of time to sit down and concern himself with a whole lot, but he does concern himself with what you need to know.
Yeah, thanks for covering for me.
That's what I do, though. Anyhow, hey, the big news is it appears that now there's going to be some new members. Well, before we get into that, first off, let me say that, Larry and I are thinking about you guys out there. I see COVID is up 60% in the United States. So this shit is still going around tough, man. Mask up, people. Take care of yourself. You don't have to go get the shot or any of that other bullshit if you don't want to. Do what you got to do, but at least respect others and try to keep yourself safe and mask up. And how you doing on baby formula, man? Are you doing okay, Larry?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, we're not suffering here. We're okay on the baby formula here in the house, but is your household doing okay on the baby formula shortage?
We should be all right. My wife got some double D's. So
okay. Well, you got a double supply.
Yeah, I got a double. Well, she got some double. She got some L's. She got double O's.
O's. Oh my goodness.
We got a lot of milk in those joints.
I can't believe that. See, there's the same thing. We've talked about that kind of before too in the show. To where you have such limited manufacturing in the United States. You have 3 or 4, I guess, baby formula manufacturers probably. Same thing with some of these other products, and they control the price, they control the production. Now look what happens. Now they have to do, I guess the president signed in today the Defense Production Act. And they hardly ever do that kind of shit unless, there's a real problem. But you look at the store shelves, and I feel sorry for these people who actually do have a baby.
Well,
that's really no joke. We kind of approached it wrong with a sense of humor, but my God.
Well, the thing about it too, though, Tim, like I say, naturally women produces milk. So just in case they haven't resorted to using breast milk, which is way more better than baby formula because it's not contaminated, try it. Just try it.
I haven't heard them, even allude to that remark. Now that there is a shortage and we know some babies may or may not be able to tolerate mother's breast milk. That's why some babies are put on formula. Others are put on formula because mom just has other things to do and she's busy life.
Yeah, and it happens. But we got to understand, we saw all these other issues, these lower issues are going to come into play, and they're going to blame it on COVID because everybody blames everything on COVID now. Everything is COVID's fault. Everything.
It's not all COVID. We see it. We've talked about it for months.
Yeah.
There is an issues, and not everything can be. How can it take you? How long have we been dealing with this? 2 years, COVID.
Yeah, you make the adjustments. It's the
same thing. It takes you how long to make an adjustment to do things right, even if it does come to the supply chain issue.
Yeah, come on, man. It ain't a supply chain issue. It's all about them finding a way to get more money out of a perfect situation, create a situation. If there's blood in the streets, I forgot how the saying goes. I love the saying though, but they say if it's blood in the streets, it's time to buy property, something like that. I'm gonna look it up so I can use that term. Basically saying if it's ruins everywhere and you can get it cheap, that's when you want to buy it. You don't want to buy it when it's high. You want to buy it when it's low.
Makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, and they basically just finding ways to get extra money, and they want to make sure they maximize their profits. You figure that out.
Anyhow, let's get on to actual what we were going to talk about tonight, and that is NATO and the European Union. And Sweden is, along with Finland, are talking about getting into the NATO alliance. They made an application even today. They put in their application for all this. And, you know, that's driving Putin crazy. Because basically what that kind of does is locks up the western port of Russia, his exports of his products, and also creates, if those two countries joined, they would create about 1,000 miles more borderland, but you know, I guess you would call it NATO borderland. So yeah, we'll see how he takes that one laying down. But anyhow, having that in mind is when the European Union has jumped into it, Larry and listeners, is saying, well, you know what, he may not take this laying down, so we best be prepared.
Following Finland and Sweden's decision to apply for NATO membership, much of the talk in Brussels is focused on that. And it isn't any different at the EU's defence ministers meeting Tuesday. The bloc's foreign policy chief says it's ready to defend both Nordic countries if Moscow attacked whilst waiting to join NATO. Asked whether Article 42.7 of the EU treaties would be triggered in the event of an attack on Finland and Sweden, Joseph Borrell was explicitly clear.
If a state is attacked in its territory, if there is an armed attack against a member state of the European Union, this state can ask others to help it. And the others are obliged to do so with all its means. No more, no less.
Article 42.7 is the so-called solidarity clause included in the Lisbon Treaty. The UK last week also offered security guarantees to what could be NATO's newest members. But how real is the risk of Russia attacking both these countries?
Clearly, Moscow has taken a pretty mild approach to the thing. I mean, they have obviously said they were unhappy about it. They have threatened to take some military technical measures. But the bottom line is they have accepted the political decision. What they will not accept, and I think Putin is trying to draw a red line here, is any kind of NATO capability or forces being deployed on their territory.
Brussels also says it will provide another 500 million euros in financial support to Ukraine's military, bringing the total value of the bloc's overall military funds for the country to 200 billion euros. The money is being provided via the European Peace Facility and allows Kiev to procure weapons and equipment for its ongoing fight against Russia's invasion. Christopher Pitchers, Euronews, Brussels.
And there it is. It's going to be interesting.
Look like another world war that's about to come up. But then it's crazy because the peacekeepers, the peace union, whatever, they're going to supply them with weapons and money. What kind of peace is that?
Interesting, isn't it?
Like a big war is about to occur.
Well, you know,
he needs to back up.
He's
not going to win.
You know, when somebody makes threats against you, I mean, you're going to bring your buddies into it too, you know. Larry, I'm going to come into your neighborhood and just whip your butt. You're going to pretty much say, and he says, I'm going to bring my buddies with me. Pretty soon you're going to get your buddies so that, hey, this ain't going to happen. And if they got buddies, you know how it works. Mm-hmm. And then this turns into a bunch of BS.
So it's so damn stupid, man. You would think that as old as they are and as old as this world is, they haven't learned from the past world wars. I'm like, at the end of the day, I guess maybe they smell blood in the water. Maybe they say, well, we can take over this territory, expand the border, get X amount of dollars if he's not using this border. Is this all it is?
Oh,
It's like
and it does come down to money. You're right. I mean, if you think about, that there's a little island out there that they're fighting over in the Baltic Sea. And in any regards, if Finland, Sweden had control of all that area, and then that would really stifle, especially if Putin did kick up some dirt, how's he going to get anything in and out? You've got countries surrounding.
But what's on the island for them to fight over? It's some resources?
No.
It's just a little island, something just out there that they say, I want it.
Yeah. But it's in the middle of the Baltic Sea, so it's an important little piece of land. Kind of like, that's why he went into Ukraine and took Ukraine so he could control that passageway up on the east side of Russia.
And they just couldn't talk about it and just work out something.
It's all land control, and he wants to have control of that area for whatever import, export of whatever he's got. Just like he threatened, apparently, these Finland, Sweden, and Germany, all these people, because they supply oil, gas, that kind of shit. If you, support all this, I'll cut you off. It'll be interesting.
Like some big ass kids.
But yeah, I just hate to see it, all shaken down, because I don't want to see anybody, get involved. But if it gets to that point to where, he makes a move on a NATO nation, then I guess, we're in it, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're in it. This is another war. It's going to be another war over a piece of land, property, which people on this earth have been fighting over property and property for the longest. It's never going to end. It's all about property and power.
Trying to hang on to that power.
Property is the most important asset you can have on this earth. A lot of people don't get it. Property is incredible. Having that property and power to build on it, to get those natural resources off of it, all kinds of things you can do with a piece of property. It's money.
Something that's really never going to depreciate.
Never will.
No. Yeah. A lot of people talk about, you're right, investing in, some of these cryptocurrencies and other things. I think you'd be better off, if you got yourself a nice piece of land. You'd be shocked at how you could turn over cash.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people know about the McDonald's franchises.
Oh,
Those were the reason why it blew up. It's a movie about it. The reason why the McDonald's blew up, not because of the McDonald's itself, because the person that really started promoting it bought properties and then put the McDonald's on her and leased out the land that had the McDonald's.
That was a smart move, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just bought a bunch of property and put a bunch of McDonald's and said, you just pay me for the land. Yeah, I'm just going to lease the land out to you. You can have your McDonald's, but you got to pay me for this property.
Yeah, I think he slid that one through the back door. They didn't catch it until it was too late.
Yeah, and that's what this is about. This is another thing, the property, whatever you're going to do with the property, you're going to use it to make money off of it. It's another way to make more money or whatever he's going to do. It's about money, so. Instead of just talking to Ukraine about it or whatever, and them just having a sensible conversation and then running some numbers up and say, hey, you get this, I get this, figure it out. No, I'm just going to take it. Come on, bro. You just can't take nothing no more these days.
I'll tell you what, and it does. It fuels so much, and it leads us right into what we're going on to, and this is the hate that's going on, all the gun violence that's going on. Let's take a look at this clip and come back, and let's talk a little bit about gun violence and what's happening here.
Overnight back here at home, at least 3 people shot just outside the stadium in Milwaukee toward the end of the Bucks and Celtics game. And in Philadelphia, surveillance video capturing a separate brazen shooting in the middle of the day there. This all comes as President Biden makes a new pledge to fight violent crime.
We have to do more as a nation to stop the spread of these weapons of mass destruction.
that sad?
Yeah, man.
It is. I can't believe what 17 over the weekend. That was from this past weekend. Besides
They
what?
keep saying weapons of mass destruction. They ain't weapons of mass destruction. It's people of mass destruction.
Yeah, and I have to, and that's the argument of the people that are pro-gun, which I'm not anti-gun. I'm anti-idiot behind the gun.
And you can't stop people from getting guns. It's not going to happen.
That's the difficult part.
Yeah, and right now with the way things are going with the economy and economy, let's start with that.
But look at how many of them are hate crimes, Larry.
Ooh, the hate crime. I'm more surprised over the hate crimes compared to the economy when it comes to people being frustrated and just not being able to control their temper. The hate crime, that shit's so old school.
The shooting in Milwaukee after the game, they picked up 3 suspects, I believe, out of that. I mean, they don't necessarily really have just said what the particular problem was. It could have been even gang related. Who knows? That one. The one in California was a Asian denominated church, and the guy that attacked it was Asian, but I believe he was like either Taiwanese or he was Japanese, and you know how they still have the issue with Japan and Taiwan and all this shit, right? And that was his gig, but and then all this is fueled by all this BS rhetoric that's on social media and on the news.
Well, then they had the guy, the white kid, who went out there and shot all the people in the grocery store. I'm like, that's another hate crime, and that's what he did. I'm like,
that's that Peyton guy. Peyton Gendron is the guy's name.
Yeah.
What is interesting about that is this guy did reconnaissance on this whole thing. They were talking to one of the people who pick up carts out in the parking lot. And he said, yeah, he goes, I seen him just the other day. He goes, I was helping him do something, and then we had a short conversation, and then he's asked me if I was going to be here tomorrow, and I said, well, yeah. And he goes, okay, well, hope to see you. I'm like, that's a sick motherfucker. So he was, he had maps of the aisles and how it was laid out, and where he could, posture himself for the best defensive position to make sure that he killed the most people. I mean, guy was, and then, wait, even worse yet, is he broadcasted that on Discord. Discord's kind of like one of these streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So he
before or after?
Before and during.
But then, what happened to the FBI? I'm like, I heard they had conversations with the guy prior. They checked him out and said this and this, and they said, okay.
Yeah, then he was in that case before, right? You're right. You heard correct.
Yeah, and they didn't put him on any kind of watch. They didn't survey the guy. They didn't. I'm like, what happened to that? Just.
Yeah, he came. I guess he was armed because the one. What was it? He was the one guy was a security officer, was an ex Buffalo PD, and he had popped the guy, but the dude was wearing a vest. This Peyton guy was wearing a vest, so I mean he was ready for action. That's what his intent was, and I mean like you say, how the hell does that get through the cracks, Larry? How does that?
I'm
happen?
saying that any time that someone is how can I say it, has been thought of, or it's possible to do something like that, they should have been under surveillance the whole time. They should have been under some kind of surveillance, period, from their area and from FBI, like they do like they do anybody else. But they should have been under surveillance, man. What kills me, and it kills me too, because I really get tired of hearing about it, because every time I hear about it, it's the same scenario and no one is doing anything about it. It's like I'm being desensitized to the whole situation of hate crimes. And it seems to have the same old narrative, the same old buildup, and the same old ending, the same old everything. I'm like, when is it going to end? And when is somebody really going to just say, stop it? The thing about it is people knew about it prior, and they probably were edging them on.
Yeah,
I'm like, what's it going to take? A civil war?
You're correct. Excuse me, because he was a member of some, different chat groups that I guess you would construe as extremists. So you're correct.
In this whole country, and then you start listening to these politicians and these idiots that we didn't have on the show that said all these dumb things, these extremists. They just adds fuel to the fire, and they actually the ones should be held accountable too, especially when something like this happens. You go from what Trump did, you go from what these other idiots did with this conference saying these are very good white men, black man, Hispanic man, very good men, period. Don't just single anybody out. I don't think you should single out just black people saying we're great black people. Everybody's great as a collective group. But at the end of the day, you starting to see this violence being directed towards, direct, not a police incident. That's a bunch of BS too. I really get tired of hearing about that. But now you're seeing direct instances where they're targeting black people like this, okay? And now don't get me wrong, white guys have shot up some concerts and shit. So, but I'm saying when you directly just target a group of people for no apparent reason, just because they're black or because they're white or Asian, what's the purpose? What's the reason? What's the motivation? And I give a rat's ass of what your group is talking about, the extremist or whatever. The extreme thing is to love someone and help someone, and then bring what you got to bring to the table. Talk about it.
You know what's fueling this? Let's take a look at this. This is what's fueling it, Larry. This is it exactly.
A mass shooting in Buffalo has rekindled debate over great replacement theory or just replacement theory. The great replacement theory has been around for a very long time on the fringe of the Republican Party and in racist circles. In recent years, we've seen the Republican Party and its members embrace a version of the theory that immigrants are being brought here to dilute the votes of Republicans and conservative Americans.
What appears to them is we're replacing national-born American, native-born Americans to permanently transform the political landscape.
Is it really they want to remake the demographics of America to ensure that they stay in power forever?
They can't win re-election in 2022 unless they bring in a large number of new voters to replace the voters that are already here. That's what this is about. We have an invasion in this country.
Fox News has played a major role in mainstreaming this idea in recent years.
Democrats who want to replace you, the American voters, with newly amnestied citizens.
Congress is not going to act because one party has a vested interest in changing the population.
If you use the term as an invasion, that's not anti-Hispanic, it's a fact.
I have less political power because they're importing a brand new electorate. Why should I sit back and take that?
After the 2012 election, Republicans issued an autopsy which suggested that the party needed to get right with Hispanic Americans and perhaps tone down their rhetoric on immigration. After the 2012 autopsy, there was a thought that Republicans might come around to embracing comprehensive immigration reform. But that fell apart in 2013 after a surge in crossings at the southern border. And after a couple years, the hardline anti-illegal immigration movement really took off in the party in the form of Donald Trump sailing to the Republican Party nomination.
I think this will be the last election that the Republicans have a chance of winning because you're going to have people flowing across the borders. You're going to have illegal immigrants coming in and they're going to be legalized and they're going to be able to vote. And once that all happens, you can forget it.
In 2018, we had a mass shooting at a Pittsburgh synagogue. And in 2019, we had tragedies in both Christchurch, New Zealand, and in El Paso, where the shooters spoke in documents linked to their motivations about the idea of invasions or a great replacement taking place. So in some ways, the right's increasing embrace of replacement theory has been bookended by tragedies in which the shooters espouse some version of this theory more focused on race.
True.
No.
You
They
don't
talking
think,
about immigration.
No, you don't think that these idiots are spewing violence against Asians, against Hispanics, against blacks with that rhetoric?
I don't think so. I think it's been going on. The hate is already here. That just adds to it. Now you're right. It adds to it. The great replacement theory. But you got to understand, you can't just legally vote once you come across the border. You just can't come here and just say I'm voting tomorrow.
Yeah, they're not.
It don't happen like that.
You're
I don't understand what they're talking about. You got to register. You got to be a United States citizen. You can't just vote. I still know people that's been in this country for 10, 20 plus years, still don't have a green card, still trying to be U.S. citizens. So I don't know what the hell they talking about. You just don't cross the border and then you go vote the next day. What are they talking about?
That's just the rhetoric that they want to spread to make people believe otherwise.
Yeah, and they're talking about immigration. Yeah. Listen, the biggest immigration to the United States was Germans way back then. Period. Way more than Mexicans and Africans and everybody. A lot of people don't know that. Look in history. Biggest immigration in this country were Germans.
Yeah, because they were getting out of Nazi Germany before it all fell apart.
Yeah, and I'm like, they still messing with Mexicans. I'm like, come on, man. They talking about voting. They're saying it because I think I'm not a big. I like politics, but I'm thinking because they're losing elections. They got a black vice president. They had a black president. They're afraid that all this power. We talked about it. They're afraid of all this imaginary power they got. They're going to lose it because
we're going to get replaced.
Yeah, and replace how? They're too far ahead, Tim. They're too far ahead.
You know, you and I joked about that replacement. It's like, what's replaced? What does that mean? It's like you all of a sudden you move in and it's, what are you doing here? I'm replacing
like
you.
You play a video and then it come back on. I got your hat on, your shirt on. I'm in your room, then you back over here. Then it says Larry's Tidbits.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, the whole thing is just asinine.
But if you're racist, you're just fucking racist. Okay, stop trying to get these theories and stop trying to get these kind of narratives and all these things you're making up just to back up your story because you're racist. If you don't like blacks, Mexicans, whites, Indians, Native Americans, slurp the people, whatever to call them, Asians, you just don't like them. If you China from Japan and you don't like people from China, or you don't like people from Taiwan or whatever, if you're racist, you're just racist. It ain't got nothing to do with no politics, man.
But it is interesting that, you know, some of these people get so hyped up, you know, when they find a group that supports their idealisms.
And then the idiots fall for it. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, do you realize that if it wasn't for Asians and black people and even Hispanic, if it wasn't for the people that came in and built this country, which were everybody pretty much, even the immigrant Germans or the Europeans, everybody built this country. Now, a lot of that heavy lifting was on certain people, but at the end of the day, we all stuck here together. And I think that all racist people should get sent somewhere so they can fight that shit out amongst them. Racist people do not belong around us.
You don't hear the old saying, melting pot of a melting pot.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Well, racist people, people with, whether you have a good idea, how come people with ideas with love and joy and happiness, that doesn't spill over into the community? It's always the negative or this and this that spills over and people want to join the bandwagon because the issues we have when it comes to our social issues are social issues. The biggest social issues we have nothing to do with race. It's all about money and economy.
Think about it when people were out talking let's put a JFK and a Dr. King into place, two strong people who spoke out against, you know, abuse and they embraced equality and that this is the land of the free and that everybody should be created equal. What did they do?
Assassinate them. That's all they do.
So there you go.
But look at President Obama. A lot of black folks might get mad, and look at our vice president now. They're not up there pushing civil rights. They're not going to push civil rights because that's not why they didn't get into office. They didn't get elected to push civil rights.
No,
they got elected to office to push the union forward, which the union is the United States. They don't care about no civil rights.
Right.
You'll never see them at a civil rights rally. You never saw Barack Obama civil rights
or
rally.
Kamala.
You never see our vice. Huh?
I've never seen Kamala or Barack at a rally.
A true
like
civil
that.
rights rally. Exactly. They're not going to go. They're not going to go there. Not even now. I'm like, because they're not there for that. But people will always fall for that negative energy and want to join a negative group instead of embracing what we have here, which is somewhat of what is a melting pot, but it's so divided, it's ridiculous. And then we get idiots that's in the office in Congress that uses this terminology and this language and it spills over this negative.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, the one guy on there talking, and he was, I can't even remember this butthead's name. and he was just got voted in for a Republican nomination to Senate in Ohio. Oh, and I mean, I'm like, I can't believe he talks like that. We're being invaded, they're overtaking us. It's like, and you guys just voted for him, and we're going to send him to Congress.
I don't understand the evasion part. I'm like, if you're American, American is an American. I never read the definition. American is a white person that this, and this, and this. That doesn't what the definition of American. I don't know. I haven't looked at the definition, but I don't think it says that American is white people only.
Here's what
American
I don't understand. Explain this to me, Larry. They bitch and complain about a supply chain issue, and we have a labor shortage, but we don't want anybody to come into the country that could take up those type of jobs because they might end up voting.
But somebody has to do the work.
So I get confused. I mean, what do you want? I mean, you bitch and complain about, supply chain worker issues, and then you bitch and complain that you don't want them into the country.
You know what kills me too? When people go on vacations, they go to these same countries on their vacation spots and live it up. But you don't hear people in Mexico saying, "Hey, stay out of our country. I don't care if you're on vacation, stay out of our country." We don't hear them saying that.
We don't know
You don't hear them saying
no
Bahamas,
gringos.
you don't hear them saying that.
You don't want no gringos.
Yeah. But all America, here we go. Oh, you can't come in America and vote. You can come in here and get work like a slave, but you can't come here and vote. If I can work and put food on your table and put your kids through college, and damn it, I can fucking vote too. If I can help you get rich in this country, I should have the right to pick the leaders I want in this country.
You think?
Fucking
That kind of,
assholes, man.
what kind of surprises me is you see so much, it just crossed my mind. You see a lot of hate against blacks and Asians, but yet they're complaining about the southern border when you have the Latino Americans, but I don't see that much violence against the Latino community. Why do you think that is? Do you agree or disagree with that perception?
I agree.
And why do you
And
think
I
that
agree,
is?
Yeah. I don't that part I don't get. They always the language I hear is keep them out of America, but you're not going to like Mexican restaurants or Mexican areas or churches and then you shoot them all up. I don't get that.
Right.
I don't see why.
I'm not promoting the damn. I'm not promoting the damn thing or trying to.
I'm saying.
But I'm like, I was curious about it. It crossed my mind. I'm like, why do they pick on the blacks and the Asians? Yet their biggest bitch is the southern border. Yet you don't have a problem with.
Well, I know why black people are a threat. We've been a threat since day one, since they abolished slavery. So I understand why we get the flack. I understand, but the Asians, I don't get that unless somebody got the nails messed up or whatever. I don't know what they did to somebody. I'm just saying, why? Go back in history. Why? I'm going back in history with black people. I know why we get treated like we get it economically, socially, and stuff like that. I know why we get held back. But and like you say about the border, I'm like, why they ain't messing with them?
I don't
you
get
gotta
it.
take turns, spread this shit around. I'm like, come on, man.
Spread it around. Spread the hate,
Spread
man.
this shit around. They got Asian people. They got some Haitians over here. Mexican people need to get this stuff too. Canadian people.
I'm going on. So I had nothing to do with what Larry just said.
I'm saying it. Whoever's watching the show, if you're from another country, you need to get some of this hate too. Don't just give it all to the black people. I'm tired of all this. Spread this hate around. Everybody need to get some of this.
That's crazy. No, I don't know why that crossed my mind, but I just looking at the different shit that goes on.
That it'll be incidents where they're giving Hispanic people and Latino people a hard time. But what I heard though, and this is what I'm saying. Now this is from what I'm hearing, and this is from the streets. The Latino people or Mexican people they kind of like they're more accepted into the white community, even job wise. They're more accepted for some reason. Now, and it's actually in the histories, I think that I read a book while I was reading about American history that said Latino people, Mexican people are much more accepted compared to any other nationality people, compared to white people for some reason. And I read it somewhere and I started seeing some of that with these jobs and opportunities or whatever. You know, and I read it somewhere and that's a fact. If anybody want to look it up, Google it, look it up, read it. It's in the books.
There could be a lot of either psychological or social issues involved in that.
Yeah, it's in one of my sociology books and psychology books. It said that with that race of people, they're closely put with Caucasian people for some reason. So it could be like the skin tone, depending on what color the skin tone is. But
it could be that you've had them as kind of like family as when they are migrants, and they're not slave labor, they're migrant work, and they've always been for hundreds of years, yes. So living on people's property, and I mean, it could be skin. Who knows?
No, but I'm just saying that this hate shit is so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it.
Oh my God, it's stupid, man. I can't. You know, and it gives a big divide. Say some incident like this happens, and you're black. We're older, so we know how to talk through it and we understand it. But what if you're brand new and something like this happens? It's a divide. Even if a black person committed some kind of heinous crime against a white family, it's still bad. But then again, if a white person commits this crime against black people and we're trying to put it together, it's going to put a division between all of us. If a black person does to Mexican, Mexican does to black, whatever, whoever race does, it's going to create a division or hate that develops there. Now, I can understand you having some hate from that incident and maybe not trusting a whole race of people because of that. But just because somebody else said, let's hate these motherfuckers, I want you to join us too. So you're going to join us hating these people for no apparent reason. And these are the reasons we're making up with your bullshit, because everybody falls into the category rich or poor. If you're in rich or poor, that's pretty much it. We're gonna dispose of them. But you joining us. It's so fucking stupid, Tim. They need to put them on the island by themselves and let them just kill each other. All the people that hate. All the haters and racist people discriminate need to put on the island and let them just take each other out. And leave us alone.
There you go. There's the conclusion. Larry for president.
I'm gonna get assassinated. I'll be talking shit. I'm getting assassinated, Tim.
I hope not, man. Hey, anyhow, let's just have a little bit of discussion. You know, we've talked a little bit about when it comes to schools and when it comes to what they want, what they don't want taught in class. And even in their libraries, we've had this discussion, pulling books out of the library. Now, it went to another extreme, and thanks to your great state of Texas, they've even wanted to take e-books off. So not only books out of the library, but books right off of the internet. They don't even want it accessible to their kids. Let's take a listen to this.
So you know those e-reader apps that really became a lifeline for a lot of students during the pandemic? Well, they're now in the crosshairs of a culture war over books in public schools and libraries. Conservative parents in several states are targeting these apps and the companies that run them to shut down their digital programs. NBC News technology reporter David Ingram is tracking this story. He joins us now. So, David, what exactly are these parents looking to accomplish here, and what kind of success are they having?
Right. So I've been speaking with parents in states including Florida and Texas and Tennessee, and these parents are generally conservative, and they are looking through what amounts to the virtual stacks of these online library apps. People might know these by the name Overdrive or Libby or Epic. Now, back in the day, of course, parents didn't necessarily know what was in the libraries, either at school or in the public libraries. But when these apps are on their students' computers, they can go on and they can look for what they consider objectionable material. Some of this is just what you might call gay pride books, books that teach elementary school kids about gay pride and sort of the diversity in America. And these parents are seeking to have these apps removed, sometimes just from their own students' laptops, sometimes from all laptops out of school.
So, David, how are these apps and the tech companies that operate them responding to the bans?
So these aren't really well-known tech companies. They're not used to being at the center of attention, either from conservative activists or from others. And so some of them have not very much experience, and so they were a little bit taken aback. Generally, though, these companies, most of them, they line up with kind of an anti-censorship campaign run by the American Library Association. I spoke with Steve Potash, who's the CEO of Overdrive, based in Cleveland. He told me that individuals, he sort of blames the action we're seeing on individuals who are not supporters of materials with certain diverse voices. He says probably without reading the material, that they're creating an alarm, and that they, as a company, they stand with and trust librarians and the professionals. Now, Aaron, I think we're going to see this heat up a lot over the next several weeks, several months. Some states, including Tennessee and Florida, are looking at making it much more difficult for districts to even have these apps at all.
As we head into election season, for sure. David Ingram for us in our San Francisco bureau. David, thanks.
Don't you love censorship?
Well, you know how I feel on that, man. So, they don't belong in school.
I think, but wait, do you realize that in school, they have banned over 1,500 books in 86 school districts in 26 states. So 1,500 books taken off the shelf. And as a for instance, one of them is Harry Potter. No Harry Potter books in the library because it may promote witchcraft. Dr. Seuss, the Lorax. The Lorax was taken off the shelf because people invaded his forest and cut it down, and so they thought it may give a bad name to people that harvested trees, forest trees. That was taken off. They took off Oswald's in 1984. This is the #1 book banned, is Oswald's 1984, basically because what it does is takes a comparative analysis of putting neo-Nazi Germany into free London and how people would react to having no control over their lives anymore, and this big brother controlling every aspect of your life, when you eat, when you sleep, what you watch, who you talk to. That's a banned book now because it talks about what would happen if that kind of a regime took over basically, a free place like America and or London in that instance. And he wrote that book back in the 1930s. So, I mean, so is censorship good? Is there stuff,
these same people that are taking these books off the shelf, like the ones you explained, those three.
And there's more, but those are just
I know there's more. But I'm like, those three, but yet you take your kids to see The Grinch That Stole Christmas. What was he doing? Stealing shit? You teach him to see Sonic Hedgehog. What is he doing? Running for his life because somebody wants to capture him and keep him in a cage and dissect him and figure out what's wrong with him, whatever. What about Terminator and what about all these other movies that shows how the earth can be taken over? Our Robot, Batman.
Oh, let them watch the latest Halloween movie or Jason.
Yeah.
But
so you really think okay? I understand.
That's my point. That's my point.
I understand. Some books could be a distraction because people make them a distraction. They made that book a distraction, but yet you got all these other things. You have a simple argument. It could be a mother and a father arguing. He might say, "I'll slap your ass," and then slap her. But yet you take a book off the shelf and your daddy just slapped your mama the other night. I'm like, come on, man. You cannot. That's a distraction created by certain individuals to get rid of that book. That has nothing to do with the book itself. It has something to do with the individual feeling that they want to have control of a certain situation because in their household, in their life, that situation has taken over them. So let's lash back and get rid of a book which they feel created the problem that's affecting their family and their kids. The book doesn't create the problem. The people create the problem with the book. And yet we got 5 billion other things out here that kids can be influenced by, and you worried about a book.
Pastor Larry, pastor. You're right.
A book.
I can't believe it. If it, that's what bothers me is who decides to censor that particular book because of what their interpretation of it may be.
Yeah.
How do you ban the Dr. Seuss book because you say it may offend a certain group of individuals? Foresters. I mean, are you kidding me? Harry Potter. What? Oh, that's really cool that Harry can do this. I want to be a witch. Are you think your kid's that naive? Yet you take him to the goddamn. You take him to the movie.
Yeah.
But you don't want him reading it. So what's your point?
That one Halloween movie that comes every year about the three witches. I forgot the name of it, and they comes on every year. I guarantee their kids watch it. It could be something on National Geographic with a lion eating a cub or something, or a forest being cleaned out to create the houses, make wood. Come on. Now, like I said, Tim, it ain't the book. It's the distraction of the book and who made the book a distraction. That's all it is. A book is a damn book.
But, censorship.
Yeah, I'm like, what, a book?
I mean, what's
interesting?
You know what's interesting, and I'll talk about one of your. I thought you were talking. This guy is one of your heroes, Elon Musk, right? He's backing out of that deal, that $44 billion deal with Twitter, right? Because he was trying to make it a site to where you're not stifling certain voices, all this other BS. But the real reason that 20% of the accounts. He found 20% of the accounts on Twitter are either fake or they're spam bots.
Yeah.
Pushing out all this rhetoric, all this BS. And he's like, I don't want to dirty my hands with this BS. I want to get out. I want to stop it, but this is.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this what's funny. Somebody tapped into my page.
How do I censor certain topic? But I let other stuff out, and even if it is, they say they kick Trump off of Twitter, right? Because he's, but you still got other people spewing left-wing ideas and right-wing ideas, and
and they worried about a book.
And you're worried about a freaking book.
What about this knucklehead that read out of literature and the verbiage to have them go out there and just kill all those black people? That came out of someone that has written somewhat of a book. They worried about a book from Dr. Seuss and my man, and they worried about all this other crap. And the gay book, okay, they worried about that too. Now, but at the end of the day, that's the last thing you need to worry about, okay? And they're gonna learn anyway, okay? I don't really think that you really can't push that book on the child. The child's gonna learn anyway. Now, I believe kids need to go to school and learn. They gotta have some kind of entertainment. Now, does it need to be a gay book? No. Does it need to be Dr. Seuss? No. Does it have to be a book about the U.S. history? No, but it has to be some source of something, some kind of entertainment.
Yeah, but you can't you cannot completely set again. I'll allude back to the book, one of the number one book, Oswald's 1984. What part of that book was what they did is they had them burn books.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember reading about that somewhere.
Yeah, burn books. So you would. All that kind of history and everything would be gone. You don't need to know about those type of freedoms. You don't need to know about self-thinking. That's not your job to think. That's our job as a government to think for you. Your job is to do.
But they want to ban immigration.
And, I mean, you look now, control of information, what you see, what you hear.
Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how this whole country is made. You just took people and made them dumb.
The other thing that was
totally oblivious to what was going on.
The other funny thing about it is part of it is they say a big part of the thing is Big Brother's always watching you. You're not allowed to turn off your TV. You're not allowed to have relationships. But in any regards, I seen on TV tonight that the city here that we're living in got some type of like $1 million grant to put up all these LPRs around the city, license plate readers.
Oh,
so just as you're driving down the street, that's just reading plates, and so feeding information back into the national system, and checking to make sure you're not wanted, make sure the car's not stolen. But sure, I believe that to be an invasion of your privacy. Why do they need to be, constantly tracking you? I mean, you're on camera every freaking place. You're being tracked everywhere, either by your phone or by your vehicle or by them taking freaking pictures of you. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, but then they still can stop this idiot from going shooting up all those people. They couldn't stop the other guy that shot up that church and shot up that concert. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to invest money and put the stuff up, at least do something with it, which is wrong because it's invasion of privacy. But at the end of the day, something big could happen, and you could possibly save some lives. But if you're not trying to save lives, why are you doing it?
Don't you think that they can say, well, it helps us take cops off the streets? What we need is not defunding the police. We need cops on the damn street.
Yeah, we need them do good cops.
We need them on the street, not,
we need good cops on the streets, and we need to help those good cops to be even better and get rid of those asshole cops that's doing the dumb shit.
Well, that too, but look how much they spend on, these gunshot sensors they put up, these license plate readers they put around, all these cameras they put around, and to save time, money. Where's the cop?
They spend money on
tasers. Where's the cop?
Yeah, they spend money on these tasers and they don't even use them.
Where is the cop? Where's the neighborhood cop?
We need
You knew your neighborhood cop. I knew my neighborhood cop.
Yeah.
He knew us. I mean, right. I mean, you knew him. I mean, it wasn't some chance that, I never see cops anymore unless they're, running down the street, lights and sirens, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I came from a small town, so my police officer, he was a police officer, the judge, he worked at the grocery store, pushing baskets, he was a doctor.
Wait a minute.
And he was a football coach.
Wait a minute.
Everything. Mayberry. I'm from Marlin, Texas.
Wait a minute.
We only had like 2 cops down there.
Wait a minute. So you could get arrested in this town, right? He'd take your ass to jail. All right. You sit in jail, he comes to get you and takes you into court and says, just 1 second. Walks into the back room, he gets up on the judge's stand and says,
guilty.
So why you here, son? Wait a minute.
Yeah. So you go up there and like, guilty. How you know I'm guilty? I arrested you, idiot. I saw what you did.
Yeah. Why you here?
No, true story. In Marlin, where I'm from, we'll be in the bar drinking beer. The cop will come in there and chill out with us, drinking beer with us, and go back out there and keep riding around.
Wait, tell me, he owns the bar too.
Damn near, he should.
So wait.
That's how small my city was.
He gets you drunk. You walk out drunk, get in your car. He arrests you for DUI, throws you in jail. Then you got to post bond through him to get it.
The bail bondsman. You don't know about Marley. You know about Waco, but you don't know about Marley.
What the hell kind of town are you from, Larry?
Falls County, baby.
Man.
Look it up, Falls County, Marlin, Texas. It was 505 people down there yesterday. Now it's 504 because I left.
That's insane, man. That's insane. Hey, listen, let's wrap this show up. It's been fun. But anyhow.
What about the asshole of the week, Tim?
Oh, asshole of the week. Well, we've talked about him a bit. So, we will put the asshole up. But obviously, the asshole of the week is none other than Peyton Gendron, the guy who decided to kill 10 people, shoot 13, and thank God they stopped him because he had plans to go other places and shoot up even more people. So thank God they got this guy. Definitely, he deserves to be our asshole of the week.
All right.
That was depressing as hell. Now, wasn't it? See, you led into that. I almost had kind of blow past that guy, but he is, what a freaking idiot. That's all I can say. Just, somebody like that. God, please call somebody. They've got these lines you can, make an anonymous tip. Hey, my neighbor's a psycho, and I think you need to check his ass out.
It's a movie Ice Cube was in called Higher Learning. Have you seen that?
I believe I have.
Yeah, same scenario. College kid went to college, joined up with this white supremacy group, and they end up blasting people in the end of the movie. So yeah, it's just stupidity. All right, hey, let's get back to some workout tips. Like I said, I'm Larry E. LRE Fitness Solutions. We keep you moving. My fitness tip, I'm a personal trainer. What's that? God dang it.
Damn, you're strong. You knocked that shit right off the wall.
Hold on, I'm trying to come up.
I don't know my own strength.
Hey, well, basically, It's a blooper. Yeah. Tip of the week is make sure that if you're outside in extreme heat, because it's hot now in the summertime, make sure you drink adequate amount of water. Now, if you're outside for more than 2 hours or anything like that, you want to make sure you drink something with electrolytes, especially if you sweat a lot, because you're going to lose those salts that you need to recover. So if you're outside for like less than an hour or a small period of time, you're not doing things strenuous, make sure you consume water. But if you're outside a long period of time doing strenuous workouts or work, make sure you take something like Pedialyte or Gatorade or something like that to replace your electrolytes. You can follow me on Facebook at Estelle Junior Larry, or you can follow me on Instagram at Estelle Junior Larry, LRE Fitness. That's pretty much it. It's my blooper for the week. I have to cover my electrical panel. Now go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, this is Smooth Tim, and thank you for joining us again on another Hump Day Wednesday. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, and that would be for the Now You Know show, and be broadcasting on the same channel you are watching now. And also tune into the show on Tuesdays, the Queen Sylvia Show, and we're going to have a real interesting guest for you Tuesday coming out of Puerto Rico. She can sing, and she is on a whole lot of magazines. So check us out on Tuesday. Otherwise, hey, that is what we got going on, man. And I think it's
exposed my secret.
Well, oh, you mean the electric panel behind you?
Yeah, I've been trying to hide it. Now I'm about to give me another location.
Well, you know how it is, you know. It is what it is, man. But anyhow, we are good. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for joining Larry and I. And then until next week, man, y'all be cool.